Pointing out what is wrong with the game is a pretty easy task. Just play a few rounds of competitive, hell in some cases even quick play, and then go to your social media platform of choice to write an essay about why you hate everything about it. But coming up with ideas and solutions to improve our experiences is much more difficult. Though with that said, the community has been hard at work doing this exact thing. Over the past month or so, I've been reading through a lot of forum and Reddit posts, as well as talking to people on my Discord and my friends, and through the course of that time, I ended up gathering a heap of ideas that could potentially improve our gameplay experience. So I've been sitting down going through all of these ideas and ended up with this list of my personal top 5 best ideas to fix Overwatch. Now without further ado, let me present to you number 1. Improved social features. I'd say that one of the biggest points of contention is the fact that Overwatch is best enjoyed in a pre-made group, but the game itself not only discourages grouping up, it also makes it fairly difficult to find others to play with to begin with. Now obviously we could rely on third-party applications that allow us finding others to play with, but I think that something more reliable in the game itself would be great regardless. I mean, the fact that Overwatch launched without any sort of clan system is already questionable, but still not seeing a heck of a lot of improvements when it comes to social features over a year after its launch is a bit concerning. Now I know that Blizzard launched more social features that are built into their Battle.net launcher, and that's cool and all, but I think we need something in the game itself, something that is more prominent and more difficult to miss. I mean, how many people are even aware of the fact that you can now create Discord-esque social groups on Battle.net? I think a clan system, including clan tags to find other like-minded players of the same community, would be a great start. If we could then also get a looking for group feature, or like World of Warcraft, where you can sign up for your preferred hero choices and ranking, or hell, even just grouping up in a more coordinated quick play or arcade group, that would be awesome. But I know that the community has many great ideas when it comes to how we could improve the social aspect of Overwatch, so feel free to sound off down in the comment section below and let me know how you would try to attempt and fix it. Now moving on to number 2, a reputation system. Honestly, I think this is more of a thing supporting the peace of mind of players rather than something that should really have an impact on, well, anything else. But it would accompany the clan system really well. You see, in Heroes of the Storm, when a player is chat banned, unlike in Overwatch, they can't only no longer participate in competitive play, they are also clearly marked as chat banned on the scoreboard. And what this has done for me is that whenever I see somebody on my team who's playing really poorly and I see on the scoreboard that they are chat banned, it kinda makes me feel better about myself. You know, everyone has bad days. We all snap out of nowhere on occasion, we all play poorly from time to time, and none of us are perfect players, let alone people for that matter. But being able to confirm that poor gameplay and poor attitude go hand in hand kinda helps me not get as angry at my teammates, because I know that others had to deal with that guy as well. And if clans were a thing, then having a poor reputation could be a deterrent to them being recruited, which in a hypothetical world where grouping up is actually a more viable and encouraged way of playing could be a big deal. But do let me know what you think about this idea. Number 3 is almost something I would deem a necessity, a performance display overhaul. I think that most of us can agree to gold medals being an absolute meme, and many of us have argued in favor of a more accurate scoreboard for as long as competitive play exists. Now there are a number of things you could do, but the most important thing to me is removing the display of any sort of comparative metric mid-game. I think displaying how much healing and damage you have done is absolutely fine, but remove anything that allows you to compare it to your teammates before the game is over. I know that there are cases where knowing that you have gold medals in a situation where you should really not be having these can help you fix a problem in your team composition, but consider this: the amount of times gold medals are used to validate nothing of importance whatsoever, the amount of times they are used completely out of context, and the amount of times people get toxic over them. I just don't think the benefit outweighs the downsides. If you have a well-coordinated team, you can still compare metrics via voice chat and find out if your team needs to change, but people start yelling at each other over these stupid medals way too often. Not to mention, if somebody's oblivious to their own poor performance, then yelling at them that they have no medals won't get them to swap anyway, in the vast majority of circumstances. Promote active communication that is not downright toxic by not allowing players to check each other's profiles mid-game, not displaying medals mid-game, and give us a bit more context to the match by showing us a more accurate scoreboard at the end of the game. At least that's what I think would be the best way of not unnecessarily feeding into an already toxic behavior. Speaking of promoting active communication, the implementation of number 4, a team performance metric. Now this is something I brought up in a video not too long ago with a reference to a Reddit post, so if you want to check that one out, I'll be popping that into the top right corner of the screen. But the basic idea is that throughout the season, the game should put far less emphasis on an individual's MMR, as this is obviously promoting players to be unnecessarily selfish in this team-based game. Instead, the game should reward and punish everyone on the team equally for their result as a team. So if your team as a whole has been doing a kick-ass job, everyone should be rewarded more SR. And the opposite is the case if you absolutely shit the bed. That means players don't have to worry about how swapping to something else could impact their MMR and their SR gains. Instead, all they worry about is contributing to the team playing as well as they can. And here's the trick, since we are already playing in very short seasons, why not take advantage of that? An individual's performance could still be measured throughout the season, so if somebody has genuinely just been carried all season long, you could place them according to their hidden MMR at the start of the season to combat boosting. I know that this system is not perfect, no system ever is, but do let me know what you think about this basic idea and if you have anything to add to make it more foolproof. And this brings us to our last point, number 5, a replay system. Something I and many other content creators have been preaching is the power of reviewing your own gameplay. In that regard, I feel like we as YouTubers almost have a bit of an unfair advantage. I have been recording my gameplay since season 1, since I'm using it as background footage in my videos. That allows me to not only rely on this feeling I have mid-game of whether or not I'm doing well, because let me tell you, this feeling can deceive you. There have been numerous occasions where I got angry at my team for not pulling their weight and I thought I've done really well, but once I reviewed my gameplay, I saw just how poorly I've been performing myself. Individual skill is still important for you to be able to contribute to your team's success, and improving on an individual basis is the only thing we can control. So having a replay system that allows us to go back and see what we have been doing wrong could be a huge step forward for everyone who is not versed in the art of recording their own gameplay. Or maybe they just don't have the hard drive space or the right hardware to begin with. I think this, more than anything else, needs to happen as soon as possible. While the implications of everything else I've talked about today are merely of speculative nature, this right here is something I can personally attest to working really well, and essentially being a godsend when it comes to improving your own gameplay. But this already wraps up today's video on my personal top 5 best ideas to fix Overwatch. If you want to add on to the list or discuss anything I mentioned today, feel free to do so down in the comment section below. But until then, thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and if you got nothing better to do, why not check out my video on 3 common mistakes Overwatch players make in competitive play. Thank you all once again, and I hope to see you next time.